Hello viewers, this is Paladin of Odin, and this is some more Magic the Gathering Online. This is another episode of the Standard Commentary series. So, Mono Green Ramp versus... well, we haven't seen anything from him yet, so... okay, anticipate. So, it's either Blue-Black Eldrazi or Blue-Black Control. Or Blue-Black Aristocrats. Because I've seen that making a comeback lately. And no plays, so... honestly, I'm thinking he's probably Control. Hedron Archive from the ramp deck. Response, Anticipate again. So still no confirmation on this guy's deck. But if he was a Control player and he had a counter, I would have expected him to use it on Hedron Archive. Doing that to ramp decks is what you need to do to slow him down enough for you to actually take control of the game. It's the way that you bog them down. They play Explosive Vegetation, you counter it. Hedron Archive, counter it. Nissa's Renewal, counter it. And there's Renewal. Okay, he's got a response. Silumgar Scorn. Okay, so he is playing Control. But you know what? If he had countered Hedron Archive, he wouldn't have been able to play Nissa's Renewal. So back to ramp. He basically just has to keep playing things and hope that the control deck doesn't have a counterspell when he needs it. Nissa's Pilgrimage. And he's not countering it. 2, 3, 4. Another Hedron Archive. Doesn't counter that either. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. He can throw down Ulamog now. And that's one of the things that, even if you have a counterspell, doesn't really help you a whole lot. Because things like Ulamog and Worldbreaker, they still work even if you counter them. They have an ability. And there's 10 mana, so Ulamog! I wonder if he's going to pop... okay, he concedes. I was going to say, I wonder if he's going to pop the Sanctum, because he's on exactly 10 mana. But Control concedes because, well, he didn't do enough. So let's go to game 2. Okay, turn 1, Oath of Nissa. And there was about a full minute of sideboard time. Reveals Cinderglade. And if I was the blue-black control deck, I would have used that sideboard time to get rid of some of my creature kill. Because honestly, it's not as helpful against a ramp deck like this as more counterspells would be. And that's what I would have done, is I would have traded out a bunch of my kill cards for more counterspells. But that's if his sideboard is set up like that. I mean, honestly, against a deck like this, I think I'd be running full-on 4 negates if that was possible. Because everything that you want to counter is a non-creature spell. Oh, having to discard a World Breaker. That's unusual. It's good news for the control deck. Painful Truths from control. Okay, fourth land. Explosive Vegetation. If you can counter it, because he's in a bad way. And there's a negate. So, things are going well for the control deck this time. And it's not all on him. A lot of it is helping him is the fact that the ramp deck, he got mana screwed, which is kind of um, I wouldn't call it poetic justice, just because it's not offensive that this guy throws out so many lands. Hedron Archive while he was tapped out because he played a Silumgar, the Drifting Death. And Shrine of the Forsaken Gods, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. He's 2 lands away from that. Another Painful Truths from Control. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. 8 if he plays a land. And 17. Silumgar will slowly but surely take this ramp deck down. It will take 6 more turns, but if the control deck can control, that isn't going to be that hard for him to do. Sanctum of Ugin. So he's got 8 mana available. He could play Worldbreaker. Ugin wouldn't be too bad. A second Hedron Archive. And depending on how many counterspells he has in his hand, I think I would counter the Archive because it has dual purpose. Okay, there's Silumgar's Scorn. And good news for the control deck, he did not have a second spell to play that turn. Actually, what I thought was going to happen was he was throwing down the Hedron Archive as a spoiler to try and lure that counter out so that he could throw down like Explosive Vegetation or Nissa's no, Nissa's, oh wow, I spaced. I cannot remember the name of that card. It's not Nissa's Renewal. Anyway, never mind. Back to the game. He's got a lot of mana to work with. 3 Nissa's Pilgrimage. Thank you for playing that card because that was going to drive me nuts. So Pilgrimage still only gets him 2 cards this time. But next turn he should be ready to go with almost anything in his deck. What is this? Nissa's Renewal. And no point in countering this. Except for the gain 7 life is kind of relevant. Oh, he's sacrificing the Blighted Cataract to draw 2 cards. Treasure Cruise. Well, that still leaves him with 5 mana, so he should have counters in his hand. Nine cards in hand, though. He's going to have to discard. So Silumgar knocks the ramp deck down to 18, and he discards 2 land. So, ramp, all he can do now is play his bombs and hope that he runs out of counterspells or makes a mistake. Four, 7, World Breaker? Yep, World Breaker. Which will let him fire off the Sanctum of Ugin to search for another Eldrazi, and he gets to exile a land. Now is the time to counter, using the land that's going to get exiled. Okay, he lets that go through. Still has not tried to counter this. Oh, he went for Kozilek. No counter. And this is renewal. This really does not bode well for the control deck. With all those cards he drew, he should have had a counterspell. Icefall Regent. So that'll keep the World Breaker tapped. Leaves him open for an attack from Silumgar, which will take him down to 22. And he only has 3 mana open. Versus 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 mana. So here comes Kozilek. No, Ugin. And he can go -6 and get rid of both dragons. But he does have a response. He does have a counterspell for Ugin, which is good news because that would have wrecked him. So, second play. A, a second Ugin. Oh man. You could not have counted on him having 2 Ugins in his hand. And there he goes, -6, clears the board. Not a whole lot he can do now. His best course of action would be to kill the World Breaker while leaving up enough mana to counter Kozilek. Whoa, that's a lot of mana. Ruinous Path with Awaken to kill off Ugin. Destroy target creature or planeswalker. Why didn't he kill off the World Breaker and then attack Ugin with the land? But now he's wide open. He has no response to anything that the ramp deck's going to play this turn. Hedron Archive. And here comes Kozilek. And he'll have enough mana to sacrifice one of those Hedron Archives so that he can draw 2 cards. And he can sacrifice Sanctum of Ugin to go and get himself another Eldrazi. But Kozilek draws him 7 cards, so I don't know that he'll want to go and draw cards with Hedron Archive, but I would go and fire off the Sanctum, which he does, to get Ulamog, because undoubtedly he'll have something he can play here. And it's an Oath of Nissa. And honestly, I don't see how Control is going to make it out of this. And neither does he. He concedes. I actually feel sorry for the Control deck. That was sad to watch. But those are the way matchups work sometimes. So I'll end the video there. That was Mono Green Ramp Red versus Blue Black Control. And if you liked what you saw, hit that like and subscribe button for me. And